Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar organized by WeUni in partnership with UNIMORE. My name is Martina, nice to meet you all. I'll be your host for today's event on behalf of WeUni. I see here that the first people are already starting to join in. We are going to wait a few minutes before starting to allow everyone to connect. In the meanwhile, I'm going to give you some informations. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us and thank our panelists for being here with us today. Because as you can see, I'm not alone here. Let me introduce you all the upcoming speakers. We have Dr. Angelo Porrello from the Artificial Intelligence Engineering Department, Professor Luca Selmi, Electronics Engineering, Professor Giulio Allesina, Sustainable Industrial Engineering, Mrs. Ida Michela Malizia from the Students' Benefits and Rights to Study Office, Aaron Zuccarato, International Relations Office, and Marta Lollobrigida from International Welcome Desk. Welcome. It's a pleasure, of course, to have you all here. Today, our panelists will provide you with insights into the admission process, and we are going to explore 3 programs in the area of engineering. You will also have the possibility to interact with our speakers and ask them questions. So let me remind you that at the end of all the presentations, we will have Q&A sessions where you will be able to ask direct questions to the panelists. So don't be shy, just type all of your questions in the Q&A section here on Zoom in any moment of the webinar, and we will go through them at the end of this session. Also, for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by WeUni for this webinar, stay tuned because we will post the link in the chat at the end. As I see, many more students have joined. So I think we can officially start the presentations. Welcome to all of you who just joined us. So I leave the floor to the first speaker, Aaron Zuccarato.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. We are glad that you are joining this webinar about UNIMORE Master's Degree courses taught in English. My name is Aaron Zoccarato, and I'm an employee of the International Relations Office of the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia. Just a couple of words about the university. The University of Modena and Reggio Emilia, or better UNIMORE, was founded in 1175 and is one of the eldest universities in Europe. It is settled in the north of Italy, in the Emilia-Romagna, which is one of the wealthiest regions of Italy. It is one of the most multidisciplinary, active and dynamic universities in the world, with more than 26,000 students, 13 departments, 1 faculty, 1 school of engineering, and 17 PhD programs. Now, a short video about the university and the master's degree programs.
Hi, my name is Nicolas. I study advanced automotive engineering, and while studying in Munich and UNIMORE, I found myself in a very challenging but inspiring environment, full of opportunities to develop state-of-the-art technologies in some of the most legendary companies in the automotive field. I've also been able to discover stunning landscapes and the delicious food of this region.
Hi, my name is Khuraman. I'm from Azerbaijan. We all know that best practice is based on best performance. If you want to dive into Italian culture and be surrounded by professionals, you have to definitely choose Modena and Reggio Emilia University, and you will never regret it. Good luck!
Thank you very much. And we are all waiting for you at Unimore. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for the interesting presentation. I will leave now the floor to Dr. Angelo Porrello.
Angelo, sei muto.
Sì, esatto.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. I'm glad to present you our master's degree in artificial intelligence engineering. So, due to the importance of artificial intelligence in our society, the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia has decided to dedicate an entire course to these topics, so related to artificial intelligence and machine learning. Basically,
So I think there is maybe an issue with Dr. Porrello's connection.
Sorry?
Yes,
Okay.
Is he speaking right now? No, he just left us. Okay, we lost you for a few minutes, I think, Dr. Porrello, but I see you that you are back on the line now.
Can you see now?
Yes, now we can see you
sorry.
and hear you, but I think you have to
Yes.
share the presentation once again, please.
Okay, sorry. Okay, now I think that you can see.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. So the entire course is held in English, and you have to decide which of these two tracks you want to apply in. And after you have decided, there is a sort of flexibility about the courses you will follow. So basically, there are some courses that are mandatory, and others you can choose among a list of possible courses. So basically, the basic regarding the course organization, you have to keep in mind that one ECTS corresponds to approximately 8 hours of teaching. And then there are some courses that correspond to 9 credits, so approximately 72 hours, and others instead that correspond to 6 ECTS, so 6 credits. And this depends on the type, the kind of course. For instance, for courses related to the core topics of artificial intelligence, these courses correspond to 9 credits, while other related topics instead cover 6 credits. And at the end of the program, there is a mandatory internship you have to follow either in a company or in a research lab within our university. So the very important thing is that when you enroll to the program, you have to select one of 2 main tracks. And each track has a set of mandatory courses you have to follow during the 2 years. This is the structure of the program. So there are 5 mandatory exams that depend on the track you have chosen. And there are also 6 other exams that are instead elective. There are some guidelines related to how, which exams you can choose, but basically there is a good flexibility in selecting the courses according to your preferences and so on. The two main tracks you can choose among are this one. So the first one is called application, and the second one is called large scale. In the application track, typically there is it can be divided in 2 main parts. In the first part, there are some courses that aim to give you a sort of background regarding the fundamentals on machine learning, deep learning, and computer vision. In the second part of the application track, instead, the focus will be more on robotic systems or, for instance, Internet of Things and application of artificial intelligence in bioinformatics. So the first part is related to the fundamentals of these topics, and the second part is instead related to the application of artificial intelligence in a real-world context. These are the modules that are mandatory if you choose this track. So machine learning and deep learning, computer vision and cognitive systems, artificial intelligence in bioinformatics, IoT, and smart robotics. So 5 mandatory courses. The other track instead, so the second track is instead related to large-scale artificial intelligence, and after the first part related to the same fundamentals as I said before, the second part of the large-scale track regards instead distributed agent systems, multimedia data processing, and AI technologies on supercomputers. So while the first track application relates to real-world scenarios where you can apply artificial intelligence, in this track instead is more related to computing, so how to create new algorithms that perform in distributed systems in order to process a huge quantity of data. These are the 5 courses that are instead mandatory for the large-scale track. And after we have seen all the mandatory topic courses you have to follow once you have chosen the main track, then there are some elective courses you can choose from according to some guidelines in order to shape your curriculum based on your preferences and so on. So, for instance, you can choose 2 additional modules from other degrees of computer engineering here in Modena. You can choose, for instance, 2 modules from this list, covering, for instance, courses like user experience design or automotive connectivity. And also there are 18 credits you can choose from any course within that is held here in Modena. And as I said before, at the end of the program, there is an internship period, and at the end, you have to write a thesis that discusses the activities you have performed during the internship period. So I think that this ends my presentation. For any other information you need, you can visit our website, and you will find information about the enrolling process and about the courses, about the teaching activities, and so on. So thank you for the attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Porrello, for your presentation. I will leave now the floor to Professor Luca Selmi. Professor Selmi, we can see your presentation, but it's still
okay, now you should also hear me, I think.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, very well. So, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this invitation and this opportunity to present our course of study in Master Degree in Electronics Engineering, which has been recently restructured in a way that I will shortly illustrate. But before that, let me give you a few motivations why electronics engineering is a good choice nowadays. Well, my first observation is actually quite trivial. We see that of the many challenges and visions that we now have for the future, whether it be sustainability or climate change, energy management, One Health for plant, human, and environment, and many others, none of these challenges can be effectively addressed without a massive deployment of novel electronic hardware technologies, for the very simple reason that electronics is everywhere. It's the hardware backbone of all our technological world. This is generating an unprecedented and overwhelming demand for advanced electronics. And we know this because there have been times of chip shortage. We hear talking about chip wars, but most important, we hear talking about the CHIPS Acts, which are large initiatives by the national states, and one is also in place in Europe, that deployed huge investments for a large predicted growth of the electronics sector. Now, this growth, of course, calls for putting electronics education at the forefront. So this growth will generate plenty of new jobs, career opportunities worldwide, and Unimore redesigned his course of study to be well aligned with these trends. So if we think that electronics is at the core of any innovation, as we tried to exemplify with this simple logo, because electronics is what brings intelligence inside any object that we are dealing with in our daily life. Now, we wanted our students, we wanted electronic engineering at Unimore to provide the knowledge that is needed, provide the students the knowledge needed to design and operate a complex intelligent hardware to manipulate energy and information. And we will see this in more detail. Why we think we can do this effectively and in a modern way? Because we embraced a research-driven and project-based electronic engineering education approach. I will explain better what we mean by this, but the reason why we think we can do this in Modena is that because university professors here are very much involved in a large number of European projects on electronics. So projects involving large international networks. They go from basic transistors for ultra low voltage, low power electronics to systems for electronics in cars, to neuromorphic type of hardware emulating brain, to new materials like gallium nitride for bringing intelligence into energy management, and many, many others. And because of this, the contents of the courses can be research-driven, updated, aligned to the latest. And the student, of course, both directly and indirectly benefits of these networks, ample networks of contacts, both with projects, contents, and so on. And we will see this later. But not only this international projection that we wanted to be at the base of our course, has already been said that Emilia-Romagna is one of the richest and most enterprising regions in Italy. And if you see the distribution of medium-large enterprises, it has very high density around Modena. And we mapped hundreds of companies that are directly involved with electronics, either as designers or providers. I put a few QR codes in my presentation so that you can then go to the source of some of this information. Our course of study has direct collaborations and research together with the major players in the semiconductor and electronic components worldwide, but also with many, many others, including users of advanced electronics, like the already mentioned world-famous trademarks like Ferrari, Maserati, etc. So how is the study program organized? Well, if you think of electronics, you can nowadays, you can identify two main areas. One is that of intelligent electronic systems. These are systems where intelligence is brought into low power, portable, wearable, ingestible components, okay? And so the focus here is on miniaturization, on emerging nanoelectronics, on neuromorphic and quantum technologies, etc. The other leg of electronics nowadays, and we embodied this also in the course of study in their structuring, is advanced power electronics. Here, the focus is on novel materials that are enabling electronics to manage energy grids, to manage batteries, to manage energy, and to store more efficiently, etc. So these are the two legs. These will be the two curricula. And the other main focus was to let the students choose, to let freedom to the student and this is embodied in the course of study because we only have basically 24 compulsory ECTS at the first semester. We will go into the details later. And then the student can already choose where he likes mostly the ultra low power or high power type of electronics with additional ECTS. And then the last semester is essentially left for free choices by combining elective courses, traineeships or internships, and the final thesis, which can be, these can be merged together. Now, concerning choices, I will comment later on the individual courses, but besides the mandatory ones that we will see or the curricular, our students can also freely select courses. These are additional ones, a few ones, but in principle, any pertinent master level course at UNIMORE can also be chosen, also from other curricula. And the other point where the student can exert his choices are projects. Projects are very much part of our courses. That's way more than just learning by doing. It's designing, it's thinking, is having the basics. We have many dedicated laboratories for automation, for instance, for signals and communications, for micro nanoelectronics, for optoelectronics and photonics, vehicular communications, and even merged electronics, mechatronics laboratories and others. And once again, the QR codes can help you identify them. Yet another option that the students will have with the electronic engineering is that we systematically organize courses delivered by international professors from other universities around the world. These are just a few examples, sorry. And this is part of what I was mentioning before, putting the student as much as possible in the middle of the network of contacts that he can build while staying at UNIMORE. Last, I would like to mention industrial traineeships and also visits. We organized we started organizing recently visits for large groups of students toward the large companies involved in electronics, like, for instance, Infineon Technologies in Austria, or Loccioni, or others. And that is also part of can be part of their curriculum. Concerning the opportunities to link that the student has, of course, it should not be forgotten that Italian universities, as all universities in Europe, are within a large network of collaborations via the Erasmus programs and other mobility programs around Europe, okay? And that allow them to take stages abroad. That's common to, I would say, the vast majority of courses. And electronics, of course, has its part in it. Yet another opportunity which comes with coming to study electronic engineering in UNIMORE, and this might be of special interest for Southern America students, is the possibility to access this double degree program, whereby students of electronic engineering in UNIMORE can partner with the Brazilian Universidade Tecnológica Federal do Paraná and actually spend 1 year here, 1 year in Brazil, and eventually get a title which is automatically recognized by both institutions. So let me go now a little bit in more detail into what's inside the two curricula, okay? So starting actually with the common part. The common part gives the basics, actually not the basics which are in the bachelor, but let's say the common advanced knowledge for devices and components, so technology level of the electronics, the hardware and software co-design, because nowadays electronics is putting together hardware and software, and this co-design, this system to technology level co-optimization is a keyword, an important keyword to get efficient electronic systems. And finally, model-based digital control, which is, of course, part of having our electronics do what we actually want. So it's at circuits and system levels. For the YES curriculum, so Intelligent Electronic Systems, the mandatory courses here are complemented with additional topics that can be grouped in 3 areas devoted to learn how to manage electrons, how to manage photons, and how to manage information. Because eventually electronics and photonics nowadays are all about letting electrons and photons do what we want in order to manage information. And for the advanced power electronics instead curriculum, again, besides the common mandatory part here, you have courses on how to manage power, how to convert power, and how to control power. And for instance, in managed power, we gave emphasis to this new field of wide bandgap semiconductor power devices, which are enablers of a lot of new applications, okay, with an eye to electromagnetic compatibility, signal integrity, which are becoming serious issues in design. So going toward the conclusions, why we are convinced that joining electronic engineering at UNIMORE is a good investment for students from abroad. Well, because we offer a newly redesigned master course, okay, which is designed to address the current and the future challenges in electronics with cutting-edge contents, with a good student-professor balance, with excellent job opportunities, strong connections with leading companies and research, and with outstanding options for projects and double degrees, traineeships, etc. In a nutshell, The enrollment is ongoing, so your application will be pre-evaluated. So there is a call where you can apply, and it will be closing on July 31st, 2025. Okay, so be sure not to miss this deadline. And the requirements are actually very light. You can find them here and also at the call addressed by this QR code. And the enrollment will be completed, will be ongoing and completed by December 22nd, 2025. Okay. These are the contacts and for the course websites, the people around, and the specifics of the master courses. So I can only say thanks for your attention so far. I hope you found interest and motivation to come to Modena from what I said and from the enthusiasm that the professors here are putting in this project. And so we look forward to seeing you in Modena. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Selmi, for your presentation. And now it's time for Professor Giulia Lesina. While he prepares his presentation, if he has one, I would like to remind all the students that they can ask their question through the Q&A box here on Zoom. And I will leave the floor now to Professor Lesina. Yes, we can see perfectly your presentation. Great.
Fantastic. So I will take a very little amount of your time because my colleagues already said a lot of important things about the industrial framework that is around all the courses that our department is giving and the importance that we have to have a multidisciplinary approach. So what we focus now is the idea of, we're talking about mechanical or industrial engineering in particular. We decided to start this master degree program. It was started 2 years ago, and it's called Sustainable Industrial Engineering. The idea is to bring mechanical engineering, adding some relevant aspect of innovation. And within this innovation, a specific part is carved in terms of how sustainability can be discussed in different topics that usually you see in a mechanical engineer master degree program. Okay, so the thing is that the course was born together with the facility. I will talk about both of those because this is the third time that the Department of Engineering in Modena opened a new facility in a nearby city. In this case, is Carpi. Okay, so the goal of this master degree is to graduate students that are capable of leading innovation in a wide range of industrial frameworks. So the companies here are scattered in between very different topics and scopes. All of those companies are characterized by the requirement of having a strong relation with the university in terms of absorbing graduated students. So we decided to craft a master degree that broadly can apply to very different industrial frameworks. We want, though, to provide companies with new engineers that have a deep knowledge about industrial sustainability. And for doing so, to do innovation and sustainability, these are the two keywords and the two things that I said. So for doing so, we took what was a very common program for master degrees in mechanical or industrial engineering, and we had specific things. For example, some courses about ICT and artificial intelligence, robotics, innovative materials and composite materials. So things that we want to bring mechanical engineering into the future. The way the teaching is done is also kind of innovative. So some of the things are common with the other courses that were presented before mine. So for example, the fact that in the last semester, you will have a 6 months internship. But then we also added the hands-on lab activities and field trips to local industries. We also have CEOs and relevant individuals from local companies that held seminars in order to present the industrial framework where we are operating in. We took a lot of stress into empowering team working, giving case studies and challenging challenges to students since the day one. In this way is also designed to develop the soft skills part of student development, as well as the more, let's say, university-related teachings. We already have more than 66 companies and association that drafted an agreement to work together with the facility and the master degree. Here are some of the names. So let's look a very little about the program. This is one of the programs that I entirely taught in English, as the one presented before this. The enrollment is to enroll, you have to have, sorry for the repetition, a background in industrial engineering in general, and you also need to graduate with a graduation that is 2/3 or better of the maximum that you can take from the university you're coming from. If we look very shortly in the teachings, those are the things that we're going to teach. As you can see, maybe you have sourced and some others programs in industrial engineering. You see very similar things. What we are doing here, so you see dynamics of machines. What we are doing here is that we add the sustainability key point in most of the courses. So where you have, for example, manufacturing systems, you have the sustainable manufacturing systems, or you have, for example, sustainable product design or process design. So this is a challenge within a challenge, especially for our professors that are forced to give a very strong mechanical engineer program, as well as insights about how sustainability is discussed within the topics of that specific teaching. Very few words about the facility, then good to go. There's the new facility is in the nearby city that is called Carpi, is 25 minutes by car from Modena, and the new facility is is just behind the train station. So it is designed to be reached very easily using the train if you're coming from Modena or you're coming from Mantova. We have a very large facility with laboratories, shops in terms of mechanical shops, offices for tenured and graduate students, personnel, and we have small rooms for teachings, as well as a large one for events. But this is the plan of the facility itself. So the idea, reaching very easily my conclusion, the effort was done here, if I was able to transmit this to you, was to put together the desire for a framework company that really requires high-profile mechanical engineers, with the challenges that, as Professor Selmi was saying, that are characterizing the present time, where sustainability is for sure one of those. This is crafted together within a new facility that is in the nearby city of Carpi, very close to Modena. So the motto is be ready for a cutting-edge engineering course, and more specifically, be ready to be hired to high-profile position, learn and gain skills that are highly required by the industrial sector, in simple words, to graduate in sustainable industrial engineering. Thank you. Oh, Martina, you are on mute. Sorry, Martina.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So thank you, Professor Alesina, for your incredible presentation. And I will leave now the floor to Mrs. Ida Michela Malizia. I can see that she is already sharing her presentation. Wonderful. You can start anytime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where we are joining us from. This is Ida from Student Services Office. And in this session, I'm going to talk about benefits for international students. As Student Services Office, we provide you with benefits and services in collaboration with Ergo, which is the regional authority for the right to higher education here in Emilia-Romagna region. Actually, Unimore and Ergo support students throughout their career, issuing the calls and setting out the terms, rules, and conditions to access benefits. Through Ergo's website, you can apply for scholarship, accommodation, catering, and dining service, which are benefits directly run by Ergo, or through Ergo's website, you can apply for no tax area, fee reduction, flat tax, or other financial aid, which are benefits directly run by Unimore. So, as you can see, every institution is responsible for its own benefits. I'm sure that every one of you knows the meaning of the listed benefits, but just to sum up, the scholarship is an amount of money offered by Ergo to support your studies. Accommodation means to stay at Ergo's residencies, and catering and dining service, as you can imagine, is the possibility to access the canteen at a reduced price. Let's focus on Unimore benefits. So, what should you do if you are interested in fee exemption or fee reduction? You have two options. So you can choose between two options and then apply online at Ergo's website. First option is no tax area or fee reduction. If you want to apply for no tax area fee reduction, you have to collect your foreign income and assets documentation and then, as I said, apply online at Ergo. In this case, your fees will be calculated according to your economic condition. On the other hand, you have the second option, which is flat tax. In this case, without collecting your foreign income and assets documentation, you just apply online at Ergo's website, and in this case, your fees will be calculated according to your home country gross domestic product. So, to sum up, if you want to choose no tax area fee reduction, please remember that your documentation about economic condition must be handed in, and the amount of fees may change after Ergo's check. So if, for example, if they find out that your documentation is not complete, is not correct, the amount of fee will change because your economic condition couldn't be assessed. On the other hand, if you want to apply for flat tax, no documentation is required and the amount of fees won't change under any circumstances. We will focus on them right now, but these are the key information. Let's focus on no tax area once again. No tax area means that low-income students, so students whose economic condition is less than 27,000 euros, are eligible for total fee exemption, which means that no tuition is required except for a minimum amount, which is approximately 160 euros. Please note that as a freshman, you have this exemption just according to your household income. On second year onwards, also academic requirements must be met. This means that you have to collect credits. By choosing the procedure no tax area fee reduction, I said this, but it's very important to stress it, documentation about foreign income and assets is required. So it's compulsory. You must provide Ergo with your documentation about foreign income and assets. Ergo has a dedicated page about this kind of documentation. On the other hand, you can apply for flat tax. If you come from specific extra-European countries, you can apply for a fixed amount of fee, which is called flat tax. And also in this case, you have to apply at Ergo's website. In this case, low-income students, so students whose notional is less than 27,000 euros, are eligible for flat tax. And as a freshman, also in this case, you have this exemption just according to your country notional ISEE, which is the economic condition. On second year onwards, also academic requirements must be met. So this means that you have to study and collect credits by passing exams. Once again, if you want to apply for flat tax, no documentation about foreign income and assets is required. So you have to make a choice. You have to make your choice because you can't have them both. Here you find some examples of other financial aid UNIMORE can offer to international students. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics courses benefit from specific grants to boost students' education, especially for women. This call is published every year, and you know that is a challenge to have women in STEM courses. Moreover, local and national institutions and companies provide our students with scholarships and economic award since our university is located in such a vibrant region. Here you have some basic rules to successfully apply for benefits. Please remember that you must apply by the deadlines because deadlines are mandatory for all students. That's why it's possible for you to apply before your university application is finalized and even before your enrollment is approved. It's very important that you check out official calls at Ergo's website to make sure you meet the deadlines. Very important, you have to apply every academic year to have benefits. So you have to go through the Ergo procedure every year. Another significant information is that you have to submit all required documents. As we said before, documents are related. Tell Ergo about the composition and economic condition of your family of origin. Those documents must be translated into Italian and legalized by specific deadline. So please don't decide on your own about what is necessary and what is not, and stick to the rules. Very important. Okay, my presentation is now over. Thank you very much for your interest. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer during the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Malizia, for your presentation. It was very clear. So as she was anticipating, now it's time for your Q&A session. We've received some questions that I'm going to read now. So the first one, I will read two of them in one because I think it's the same subject. Few students are asking about other master's degree on engineering. Can any of you provide a summary on the other Unimore masters on engineering, please? Maybe one of the professor or Aaron?
Is
Yes,
it meant
Aaron.
master's degree courses taught in English or also in Italian? Because engineering's master degree courses taught in English are advanced automotive engineering, artificial intelligence engineering, digital automation engineering, sustainable industrial engineering, and I think that's it. if needed, also the Italian ones, I must look for them because they are much more and I don't usually list them.
I'm pretty sure that the two questions that we received about the other masters were from international students, so I think you've answered them. There's another one, maybe also this one for you, Aaron. Can I apply to multiple master's programs simultaneously?
Yes, it is possible, but you need to have all requirements needed in order to apply in both or more masters. So it's not that easy because the application requirements are different from course to course because you need to match them.
Thank you so much. So I've
I can
seen
maybe
that.
give just a little comment on this. It would be nice to know from the students, from those who ask this question, what is the purpose for that? Because I mean, applying for more than one in order to receive more than one degree from Unimore, or just in order to access the teaching offer or different courses. If it is the second, most courses I taught for electronic engineering, but it's true also for other engineering courses, allow through the choices to pick up courses from other curricula and other degrees, especially. So, I mean, a more precise answer can be given if the motivation for this question is known, I guess, but maybe it will come later, or I don't know how you plan to manage questions that may come later, or turn them back to us, or anyway.
Absolutely. I will keep you updated if the students will reply. I've seen that both you, Professor Selmi, and Professor Alesina answer a few questions. This session will be recorded, is going to be, yes, recorded. So I was thinking that maybe I could read a few of them because also people who will come next can know the reply. Like there's, for instance, this very interesting question about some success stories of engineering alumni from Unimore. Could you please, Professor Selmi, provide maybe a summary of your answer?
Well, yes, I mean, of course, I answered for what I know, which is related to electronic engineering. I'm sure my colleagues would have similar success stories. But one of the most successful, in my opinion, was that one of the spin-off companies in Unimore, for instance, which related to the field of semiconductor devices, which is also the area where I teach, has been recently bought by one of the giants, worldwide giants in equipment manufacturing. And this giant, because of the knowledge gained in the environment of Unimore, which is especially strong for electron device components, decided to open offices and a site here next to Unimore in Reggio Emilia, where now more than 30 students, mostly from Unimore, are working in a truly international environment. And this company is similar stories are true, for instance, for Infineon, which is another giant, a worldwide giant, where we have strong collaborations also with the PhDs, support to PhDs, to visits, and projects, and so on. So the list of international projects that I gave, and of course also others could give their testimony in this, really, I think, demonstrates that we could list quite a few success stories. For sure, in the website of the ICT PhD, which I could post later on we actually also collected the testimonies from many of our past PhD students. We have not talked about this, but the engineering courses in UNIMORE are strongly linked to doctoral study programs, which are all quite successful. So maybe I could also post this.
Yes, please share any link for the.
And the page, actually, I think it's this one. Yes, Control C. And should I do it in the chat, I guess, right? So,
yes, I will then share the link to all of the participants. Thank you, Professor Selmi.
That's the link.
So
that
thank
is for
you.
one of the PhDs, but then there are, by going into the doctorate page of the university or the department of the Enzo Ferrari, they will find also the other doctorates.
Thank you so much, Professor Selmi. There's also another question Professor Alesina answered, but I think this one is for anyone. How does the university support students in finding internship or industry placement? I think this one is very interesting. Who wants to take this? Maybe Professor Alesina, you want to summarize what you already answered, or anyone can?
So I will just repeat that. So if we are discussing about the engineering department, the Enzo Ferrari engineering department, the idea is that most of the time companies present themselves within the courses, and we have seminars, as said before. And there are also dedicated events where companies can put together a stand, like in an exhibition way, so students can walk through the hallways and decide where to stop and have a chat with the company. So that was quite effective. All our students have found work position within 1 year. So we have 100% success in that.
Great. Does anyone else wants to add anything about maybe? Yes, Professor Selmi. You have
no, actually, I was just nodding because Professor Alesina touched a very good point. The employment rates after graduation for engineering students in Italy in general, and especially in our university, are very, very high. I mean, close to 100%, because you will never get 100% because some is when you capture the situation, you always find someone that is transitioning from one position to the other, but employment rates are extremely large. And there is a dramatic shortage of engineers. So
thank you so much. So time is running out very quickly. So unfortunately, we don't have enough time for answering more questions, but don't worry, because we will send an email to all the participants with the recording of this webinar and all of Unimore contact information. So if any of you have further questions or wants to keep in touch, you can do so. I want to thank our fantastic guests for the interesting conversation and also for their presentations, and also thank everyone for joining us and for all of the questions. I'd like to remind everyone interested in receiving the certificate of attendance by WIUNI. You can click on the link that we are sending in the chat right now and request it. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to ask all of our panelists if they would like to leave our participants with a message, with some final remarks, some tips maybe for the students.
We are waiting for you. Come to Unimore.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you so much to everyone. Again, to our speakers and everyone connected with us today. I hope to see you again in the next webinar organized by WeUni. So bye, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
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 Goodbye.